Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làwọn tó dòdòdò.
Good morning to you.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làwọn tó dòdòdò.
Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live.
Gbogbo ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Àṣírí ọ̀dẹ̀lú kì í kó níbẹ̀ o.
Thank you so much for joining me as always. After reading the caption of the broadcast, please read the description as well. Like the broadcast, share the broadcast, to invite your friends and your not so friendly friends. Tell all of them that Mayegun today. Thank you.
Facebook.
Let me know if the audio is perfect on your own device there. Just before we get so fully down to this. The dictatorship in Nigeria is in active mode. Indeed, the drug dealer, the drug addict, Kolu, is actually having the best time of his life as we speak. As an Abacha reincarnates, a secret memo by the supposed member of his government, intimidated and threatened by one section of their fraudulent 1999 constitution that says you have the right of assembly, this right, that right. Tifnumbu has ordered for the arrest of Omoyele Sowore if he dare goes to Nigeria. Today. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us tonight. It is Mayegun Live. And let's just get down with it. This memo on your screen, I don't know if it is intentionally leaked or it is just leaked like others too, not meant to be in public. It is a memo raised supposedly by one of Tifnumbu's, one of Tifnumbu's allies. And according to them, it is to get those they considered as the enemies of Tifnumbu's government, Omoyele Sowore to be precise. Remember, as you are watching this broadcast, there are Nigerians who are currently standing trial in the courts of Tifnumbu in Nigeria. Their offense. They protested against hunger. They protested against bad governance. They wanted the Tifnumbu to end bad governance. Do you make illegitimate government to end illegitimacy? It's practically asking them to sack themselves or asking the government to sack itself. Nevertheless, the memo released was that Omoyele Sowore has been making Tifnumbu's government. This is their state. They said he's been making Nigeria ungovernable, and that is treasonable felony. Treasonable felony carries one singular punishment: death. And the former Daura, now Dr. Stupid Service, has been put on alert. If you see Sowore in Nigeria from the airport, plus Sowore, plus his baggage and his luggage, bundle them straight to Abuja, and he must be locked up indefinitely. Indefinitely means this time around, right? No negotiation, no court appearance, just make him disappear. Surprisingly, that memo made it to the public. And it also sort of certified the denier that, certified the already known truth that Tifnumbu, like many others, not just Tifnumbu, those who are supposed to protect Nigerians, they will rather protect the regime, and they will do anything and everything, okay, to protect the regime. Unfortunately, the regime they are protecting is an illegitimate one, where Tifnumbu stole an election, rigged an election, compromised institutions, and he's been finding it difficult to even rule around the country. Sowore, who actually saw this himself, believed that they are toying with the wrong guy. This is actually an intimidation that is so useless. He is going to go to Nigeria. If you can remember, when Tifnumbu came in through Fagbemi, his own supposed attorney general of Nigeria, the Minister of Justice, surprisingly, they decided to withdraw all the treasonable charges against Omoyele Sowore, the ones initiated by Abubakar Malamu, Boko Haram's attorney general of Nigeria then, charged Sowore for treason, an effort to overthrow overthrow Boko Haram. A lot of people believe that was the handiwork of the confessor Wole Soyinka, using his good relationship with Tifnumbu in asking for a pardon for Omoyele Sowore, where the same government of Nigeria charged that was trying him for treasonable felony, developed a cold feet with no evidence though, right? They developed a cold feet and withdrew all the charges, dropped all charges against him, with a supposed expectation that Omoyele Sowore will just disappear, or at least cooperate with Tifnumbu's government, give them good media, and because our local Yoruba local, this is just like part of the conspiracy theories, okay? Sowore never begged anybody to drop any charges against him. In fact, at a point, the Dr. Stupid Service, and including the office of Malamu, they stopped coming to court to attend to their own case, the case of a treasonable felony against Sowore. They just stopped, and the court kept adjourning until the court threatened that they were going to actually dismiss the case. But before they could, the Attorney General of Nigeria, Fagbemi, dropped all charges. Then, in August, Omoyele Sowore, amplifying the voice of the Northerners who were planning at the time to shut down Nigeria because of hunger protest. 10 days hunger protest in Nigeria for Tifnumbu to reinstate the subsidy that he removed. Kalu didn't give a damn, he didn't give a shit. After that 10 days, even though they killed over 100 people, arrested over 1,000 of them. So eventually the 10 days lapsed and everybody just went on with their lives. But Tifnumbu and his handlers, they wanted that to be the first time and the last time anyone and anybody in Nigeria will stand up, mobilize themselves, and call for a protest. Sowore has been calling for revolution all this while. And you know now, if the citizen says, we are going to fight, we are going to protest, you will see Sowore there. He amplified it to the point that he almost owned it. Like he was the one who called out for the nationwide protest. However, when Sowore was finally, when the charges against him was dropped, his passport was returned to him. Sowore returned back to the United States of America. And from there was where they believed he coordinated the End Bad Governance protest, to the point that Sowore was disappointed that the protesters didn't take the fight further to their traducers, to their oppressors. And at the tail end of that protest, Sowore made a promise. It is not over. It is not over. He started muting, the idea of the protests will kick off again in October. This time around, it will be a total shutdown, and there will be no end to it until the demands of Nigerians are met. This is not going to be, this is unacceptable to Tifnumbu and his gang. So they have now declared him personal non grata. Somebody that must never come to Nigeria again. If he dare come to Nigeria, he will be arrested. This time around, he will never see the light of the day again. Well, the memo leaked, okay? And Sowore himself has responded by saying, oh, you are so wrong, guys. Oh, you are so wrong. Because I will come to Nigeria and you can do your worst. Really? A lot of people are believing that, guy, hey, stay where you are. Nigerians are not worth dying for, except if you are just somebody who doesn't really mind losing your life for nothing, kind of. So yesterday, Sowore was on a program that covered the ongoing trial of the hungry Nigerians arrested and being tried for treason. It's only now that it's actually a mockery. If you are arrested for treason, you are likely not going to get bail, because the punishment for treason is death. You will be killed. However, the Nigeria judiciary, where you have the judicial bandits that are interpreting the law all the way they want, in a lawless country that doesn't even have any rule of law, they granted bail to hungry people, 10 million naira each bail. Somebody said, if these guys have 10 million naira, do you think they will be protesting that they are hungry? Of course not. So we are going to start this program this evening from Sowore's, and he actually had an engagement with one of the lawyers trying Nigerians, poor Nigerians, hungry Nigerians that are being tortured for 35 days. One of the lawyers was also on this program where Sowore was as well. And this was the exchanges.
And we must get serious and start prosecuting individually prosecutors, police officers, and judges who connive to deprive citizens of their rights. These are just protesters, and they have not committed any offense known as treason or treasonable felony, or there was no attempt by them to commit such an offense. They're just exercising their fundamental rights guaranteed by international instruments to which the Nigerian state is a signatory. Under a civilian regime, there's nothing to welcome here. We should all be sad very sad that this is happening in the first place.
So what you're saying now is ab initio, even arresting them is wrong because they just came out to exercise their rights.
It was a crime to have arrested them for exercising their rights. The man who is president of Nigeria today, in 1994, was accused of bombing a place in Ejibo, a petroleum depot in Ejibo, Lagos, by the military regime. That is Bola Tinubu. It was a crime that was framed, it was framed up in it. He ran away from the country. He was never arrested or prosecuted from it. He was in exile, and he spent his time in exile, came back. He was welcomed as a hero, as a pro-democracy hero. He's now is Nigeria's president today. Imagine such a person under his regime, charging protesters, people who are carrying. They even wrote it in the charge sheet that these individuals were trying to overthrow the government by carrying placards. It's in the charge sheet. It's unbelievable that we are even discussing this as a welcome development. It is a terrible, terrible development that should not be welcomed in any society, not even in a banana republic.
All right, I'll come back to you. We have a lawyer here in the studio. By South Africa, you see you were in the court today, yes, and in company of the NBA, or you went as an NBA lawyer, yes, in court. And he has mentioned something that actually called for question. He said it is a crime from the beginning to have even remanded the protesters. What is the crime in that?
Anyway, I believe that the issue that is before the court, every charge sheet filed before the court must be looked into. No matter how frivolous it is, it must be looked into. Because denial to look into it, you also alleged breach of fair hearing. But no matter how frivolous, no matter how watery, no matter how useless it is, some of them are useless, like he has alluded. The court will always exercise their jurisdiction founded under Section 6, subsection 6B of the Constitution, which is determination of dispute between individual and other, and as the case may be, including criminal jurisdiction, as the case may be. The court, Honorable Justice Emeka Nwite, in the grant of bail application made by the 10 defendants, granted the bail and ought to be commended. The judge ought to be commended. Because I was in court, I listened attentively to the ruling when it was delivered. Now, there have been contentious issues and responses with respect to whether bail can be granted in a capital offense or alleged capital offense, as the case may be. I want to interrogate the issue from locus classicus cases, which the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal have decided before. Because why these cases are decided is to bind and, or future cases. In the case of Pius Ozanekwe versus Commissioner of Police, in this case, you remember the famous Onitsha main market when it was burnt in 1994. Then, after the incident, certain persons, 9 of them were arrested, including Pius Ozanekwe, Chinemelo, COP, many of them. Now, Pius was arrested with 9 of them and charged on the second day of December 1994, was charged before the Chief Magistrate Court in Onitsha. The Chief Magistrate Court, not having jurisdiction, because they were charged for conspiracy and murder, not having jurisdiction to try murder offense, which has to do with the death by hanging or capital punishment, reminded the accused persons in prison custody, pending when an information is preferred by the Attorney General or the appropriate department before the High Court that has jurisdiction to try for capital offenses. The fellow, Pius Ozanekwe, made application for bail before the High Court in Onitsha. The application was taken by the trial court, and the trial court refused the application to say, oh, this offense bordered on a capital offense, we cannot grant you bail, as the case may be. Then they further made application to the High Court, to the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal, my Lord Achike JCA, as he then was, made a far-reaching judicial pronouncement in allowing the appeal and granting bail to the persons, the appellants, and the other eight defendants in a capital offense of murder, like in what we have today. I said that the right to bail in pretrial proceedings must be preserved. Right to bail in pretrial proceedings must be preserved, so that the presumption of innocence, which is granted under Section 36, subsection 5 of the Constitution, if it's achieved in the final rung of the proceedings of the court, will not be in vain. Because if you achieve, say the man is presumed innocent.
Dake, Alaye. Now, here is the DSS memo with Omoyele Sowore's name on it. And this is how they raised it, okay? Watch list action. I'm directed to inform us that the DGSS has approved the upgrading of WLAB, report arrival and destination by telephone, immediately to WLAF, detain traveler and escort with baggage to NHSS by DSA 9A//6201 against Omoyele Sowore, an activist, founder of Sahara Reporters, Inc., an online news agency. This is for your strict compliance, please. Signed, Adeola D. Ali for NISEC NHSS. Waiting the Sowore's offense. Because Sowore is on the side of those that Tifnumbu is showing shege, where they are making mockery of the your supposed law. And they have lawyers who are going to say, the court has a jurisdiction, the judicial bandits, they have the blah, 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 in a contraption, a lawless contraption. We don't know how many people they have raised this kind of memo. If you are criticizing Tifnumbu abroad, the ideal thing is that avoid Nigeria. Avoid Nigeria, because you may not be that lucky. If they grab you, you may never come out alive. As for the protesters, they locked down. I want Sowore to add more. I don't like listening to that guy. So yeah, here is the other part of that chart from that same program yesterday. From New York to Abuja. Here.
I'm sure you have listened to the lawyer, that the bail condition, though, may be tough, but there's a possibility that it can't be reviewed. And if there's a possibility it can be reviewed, that means the counsel for these people in detention will have to go ask for a review of the bail. But let's take a look at what has been going on in Nigeria. We have seen cases where court grants bail and the bail condition was met. At the end of the day, they didn't release them. We have also seen cases where the court will say, okay, we have tried to meet up with the bail condition and all that. Getting to that place to release the person who was arrested, the person was rearrested with new charges. Are you seeing things? Are you seeing the future that something like this may play out?
You know, let me explain to you. The lawyer who is speaking there is speaking law. He's not speaking justice. And my concern is justice. You know, you can bring what they call hubris in law to justify anything and say you should praise a judge. I have been a victim of this type of rubbish charge before. 2019, I was arraigned before a federal high court and accused of treason after they had detained me for 45 days on false charges that I was engaging in terrorism and I went to pick $100 million from Dubai. When we got to court, they discovered I've never been to Dubai before. After spending 4 months in detention, I was granted bail on conditions that the judge knew I cannot fulfill. We went and varied the bill. I made the condition after a month. I came back for trial. I was abducted before a judge in Nigeria, inside the courtroom. So what I'm saying is that Nigeria must get to a point where you start punishing people for engaging in this